2 months ago, I came to Darwin with the mission, the goal of meeting as many people as I could and seeking out the lost sheep and plugging them into Mark, my missionary pastor's church here in Dalian. At the end of 2 months, I'm confident that I've tried the best of my abilities to achieve that goal. Of seeking out those who are interested in knowing our God and channeling them into Mark's missionary work that he'll continue to do even after I leave. My second purpose was to consider long-term missionary work overseas. At the end of 2 months, I'm convinced that missionary work is worth your life and my life, and it's about making that decision of where to place ourselves in Sydney or overseas. A friend told me that if you could be a Christian in Sydney, which is relatively light, like it's dark, but at least there's gospel churches pretty much every suburb. Or you have the opportunity to go to a place that is completely dark, just silent, no gospel workers, and just void. I'd see it as a privilege of being that small light in complete darkness in a foreign country. And I'm hungry after 2 months to see more of God's work being played out in places like Darwin, where it is dark and there's not many Christians here. I've had the privilege to be on the front lines of the mission field, and it's just been so enjoyable in reaching out to people who have never heard the gospel before ever. At the end of 2 months, I've had a deeper perspective of Matthew 28, where the command goes out, where all authority on earth has been given over to Jesus. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them, teaching them, commanding everything that Jesus has told them to do, and know that He's with you always. I've learned to not fear, to go out in boldness, that Jesus gives that command in the context that He is coming back. That's a certainty. So let's work in building our lives on the gospel and stand with Jesus on that last day with a clear conscience that we gave our whole lives for the command of our King. I've learned at the end of 2 months that love is the only thing that will sustain missionary work in the long term. Love of God for His gospel, to go out for all to hear. Love for people so that all people from every tribe, every nation, every ethnic group at least have the opportunity to hear the gospel and make that decision of either accepting it or rejecting it. At the end of 2 months, I really don't want to leave. Like, the emotional weight of ministry is deep. Like, you build for 2 months, you start something and you don't want to leave it. Very hit by the idea that the lost sheep without a shepherd. Mark 6, and Jesus talks about the Jews, and I feel the same emotional weight as I'm about to head off. When I said farewell to my friends that I've met for the last 2 months, that I've discipled, that I've trained, that I've evangelized, it really is a farewell. Like, I don't know whether I will ever see them again face to face, and I don't know whether the seed that's been planted in their hearts would actually sprout out into salvation or not. But I guess that's where trust in God kicks in. God will not forsake His people. God will sustain His people to the very end. As a gospel worker, you cannot lose sight of that truth. Keep on praying in the truth that Christ loves His people. He will not lead any astray. But I think at the end of 2 months, I'm hoping that as I've tried to communicate with you guys over the last 2 months about what's happening here, that you guys see that the mission field is ripe. I'm hopeful that this mission that I've done in 2 months and the videos I've sent out to you guys has given you a lens to look into a world outside of Sydney that needs the gospel. And so the question that I am faced with, and the question that you are faced with, is that how can we be using everything we have to reach and witness and proclaim eternal truth, and let's take serious consideration of whether we are suitable for missionary work. Let's be a body of Christ that works together in figuring out as Christians whether we should stay or whether we should go. And if we're going to go, let's work with the people that send us out so that we are working as one movement in seeing the gospel reach out to the end of the world. And so thanks for supporting me, and as I come back, it'll be great to catch up. and to be back. It's been a long 2 months, but it's been gone fast, and I've loved every moment of it. See you guys soon.